got Sophie Cunningham on her podcast just coming out and saying what so many people have been saying, but you haven't heard it from any WNBA players up until this point. But we know when it comes to Sophie, she doesn't seem like somebody that is going to hold her feelings, her opinions inside.
Sophie Cunningham just dropped a bombshell, something nobody else dared to touch. She openly called out the WNBA's biggest conflict of interest, exposing a huge issue that's been brewing right at the very top of the league. You know that knowing grin, that was her, smiling as she unveiled an inconvenient truth on her podcast. Everyone has been whispering about this, but honestly, no WNBA player had the guts to say it on record until now. The silence from everyone else was deafening, but Sophie chose to speak her mind, and that sent shockwaves through the entire professional basketball community. This wasn't just a comment, it was a challenge thrown right at the establishment.
All right, you can book it. You can book it. It's good as done. It is good as official. Sophie Cunningham will be back with the Indiana Fever, as they have made it a priority to keep her involved with everything in regards to the organization during this offseason. Sophie Cunningham will be back, y'all. That is good news. Tres Leches will be back. One half of the Blonde Bombers will be back. The one person that we know, besides Lexi Hall, the person we know will fight if anybody steps to Caitlin Clark the wrong way.
So who was Sophie's explosive revelation aimed at? It was WNBA stars Natisha Kiedemann and Breanna Stewart. These two are amazing, formidable players, but they're also the high-profile co-founders of Unrivaled. That's a brand new women's basketball league that's already making big moves and attracting a ton of talent. This dual role created a situation that a lot of fans and media have quietly questioned for months. But Sophie publicly put it out there, forcing the conversation into the open. Their positions are super powerful, and their connection to a rival venture, that's raising some serious eyebrows across the entire professional sports world. And it demands some real answers.
Or the draft's going to happen, right? So, in other words, the worst teams. When are the worst teams? What order are they going to end up picking? In other words, let's just start there. These are the teams in the WNBA draft lottery. Number one, it will take place Sunday, November 23rd on ESPN. You're going to do a draft on NFL or draft lottery on NFL Sunday? Okay, that's one way to go, I guess. This league is crazy.
The core of this whole controversy, according to Cunningham, is their leadership roles within the WNBA Players Association. Listen, both Kiedemann and Stewart serve as vice presidents on the executive committee. That gives them direct influence over critical player affairs. And get this, it includes the ongoing collective bargaining agreement negotiations, which is huge. To simultaneously build a competing league, one that offers alternative employment while still representing players in the existing WNBA, that's a stark ethical dilemma. It's totally ripe for accusations of divided loyalties, and Sophie Cunningham wasn't afraid to call it what it is, a clear conflict of interest. She really didn't pull any punches.
One person that we know, besides Lexi Hall, the person we know will fight if anybody steps to Caitlin Clark the wrong way. Sophie Cunningham will be back with the Indiana Fever. This is beautiful, beautiful news and a great thing to see. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video as always. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rolling. So, Sophie Cunningham has been doing her big one during the off season, as she should be out here doing her big one. And if you pay attention,
now, Unrivaled burst onto the scene, promising player salaries that make current WNBA paychecks look absolutely tiny in comparison. This isn't just a small difference, it's a monumental gap that instantly caught the attention of players and agents everywhere. Imagine this for a second. You're an executive in one company, tasked with negotiating employee salaries. At the same time, you own a startup that explicitly offers significantly more money to that exact same talent pool. That's the precise scenario Tiedemann and Stewart are in. Just like Cunningham bravely pointed out, it creates an undeniable financial leverage point against the WNBA itself.
Do a draft on NFL or draft lottery on NFL Sunday? Okay, that's one way to go, I guess. Wow, this league is crazy. Dallas Wings, Minnesota Lynx, Seattle Storm, Washington Mystics, and Chicago Sky will take part in the WNBA Draft Lottery 2026. ESPN will air a 30-minute WNBA Draft Lottery special at 5:30 Central with WNBA Head of League Operation Bethany Donovan.
Natisha Tiedemann, especially, has been one of the most vocal and consistent critics of the WNBA's current pay structure. She's publicly and actively voiced deep frustrations about how little professional women's basketball players earn for all their elite skills and dedication. And while her fight for higher wages is totally commendable, her dual role adds a whole new layer of complexity to her stance. The thing is, she's a founder of a league that offers those higher wages while also negotiating on behalf of the WNBA. Sophie's comments really shine a harsh, unflinching light on this delicate balance, questioning the pure intent in such a high-stakes environment.
Off season, as she should be out here doing her big one. And if you pay attention to the tea leaves, there's only a few people that's with the team who have been involved with operations in terms of team activities and things like that. And I'm going to get into, there's some people who have been no call, no show, who have not been allowed to be a part of anything. And that's because they won't be back. And that is a great thing. What do we have here? We have Sophie Cunningham participating in another engagement on behalf of the Indiana Fever.
What's crazy is the timing of Sophie Cunningham's statement. It couldn't be more critical or strategically placed. The WNBA league office and the players are currently deep in negotiations for their next collective bargaining agreement. This is a pivotal moment that will shape the league's future for years to come. Plus, Unrivaled has already set a new, much higher salary benchmark, and its co-founders are sitting right there at the WNBA negotiating table. So, the lines of interest just become incredibly blurred. Sophie's willingness to call out this conflict directly during these sensitive, high-pressure discussions, that's truly unprecedented and remarkably bold for any active player.
First round pick, and will have 261 chances out of 1,000 to win the top pick. God. Chicago is in a mess. They are. Chicago, which owns the Connecticut Suns first round selection, has the 5th most chances. So 55 chances out of 1,000 to land the first overall pick. So good luck with that. Yeah, that franchise is in a wreck, and
look, this isn't some minor league scuffle or a localized issue. We're talking about professional basketball played by the same elite athletes at the highest level. Any argument that it's not the same time of year or it's just 3-on-3 simply doesn't hold water, as Sophie Cunningham implicitly pointed out with her direct challenge. A player can get hurt or suffer an injury in Unrivaled, and that directly impacts their WNBA career and the big investment made by WNBA owners. The fundamental nature of the competition and that shared player pool means the conflict is inherent and unavoidable, no matter the season or specific format. It makes the stakes immense for everyone involved.
And that is a great thing. What do we have here? We have Sophie Cunningham participating in another engagement on behalf of the Indiana Fever, doing her thing. Let's take a look at it. And she's only doing this because they are 100% bringing her back.
Stuffing? Yes. Yes.
Sophie!
Yes! What's going on? No, you are not. This is what we're here for. We're here for you. Come on! Ah!
This is what we're here for. We're here for you. You love to see the engagement with the people. You know Caitlin Clark is a woman of the people.
For those seasoned sports fans, the ones who followed the intricacies of the professional game for decades, this conflict of interest is glaringly obvious. We've watched countless collective bargaining negotiations in the NBA, NFL, and MLB, and we understand that delicate balance of power. The idea of key player representatives simultaneously running a direct competitor would be unthinkable, a non-starter in those established leagues. Sophie Cunningham just articulated what many external observers, with even a basic understanding of professional sports dynamics and ethics, have already recognized. Her courage isn't about discovering the issue, it's about publicly validating its undeniable existence from within the player ranks.
Terrible trades last couple of years. Sophie Cunningham. So, something we have told you guys on this channel, we have called out, is the massive conflict of interest between the Unrivaled co-founders, Brianna Stewart and Sophie Collier, being involved with the WNBA Players Union. They're vice presidents. Guess what? Sophie Cunningham comes out and acknowledges there's a conflict of interest there. It is what it is. I don't understand if we keep saying I don't understand.
Sophie Cunningham isn't exactly new to speaking her mind or shying away from controversial topics. This is the same player who famously stood up to fiercely defend Caitlin Clark when so many others in the league stayed conspicuously silent or even seemed openly hostile. She's built a consistent reputation as someone who doesn't shy away from uncomfortable truths. She defends what she believes is unequivocally right, even if it means being unpopular. Her history of straightforward, no-nonsense communication makes her the perfect person to address such a touchy subject. It proves she's not afraid to be the lone voice in the room, even when it's politically inconvenient.
This is what we're here for. We're here for you. You love to see the engagement with the people. You know Caitlin Clark is a woman of the people. She's a woman of the people, the people's champ, the one and only. We got Sophie Cunningham, who has, if anybody has seized the moment of being next to Caitlin Clark, nobody has seized it better than Sophie Cunningham. Good Morning America, RB, everything, NASCAR, everything. She has seized the moment.
You're going to Sydney? You're skipping this? No!
And this unfiltered honesty and unshakable character are exactly why the Indiana Fever is reportedly prioritizing her return. It's been widely signaled that Sophie Cunningham will be back with the team, a crucial piece of the puzzle around superstar Caitlin Clark. The Fever clearly sees her immense value, not just on the court as a skilled player, but as a fearless leader and an incredibly loyal teammate. Keeping her involved with everything during the offseason speaks volumes about their unwavering trust in her character and her overall positive impact, even amidst potentially controversial public comments that might ruffle some feathers.
The league has found itself in an interesting position given that the WNBA league office and players are busy negotiating for the league's next collective bargaining agreement. Since Unrivaled is notorious for giving its players salaries that make the current WNBA salaries look minuscule, Unrivaled can be used as an example for what the world's best women's basketball players should be making in the world's premier women's basketball league. But that's not where the interest ends. Unrivaled's co-founders, WNBA stars Sophie Collier and Brianna Stewart.
Her deep engagement in off-season team activities, especially alongside Caitlin Clark, further cements her importance and how indispensable she's seen by the Fever organization. Sophie's been spotted participating in tons of community events and important engagements, proudly representing the team. This isn't standard practice for players whose futures are uncertain or hanging in the balance. It's a clear and unmistakable sign of her secure position and the team's firm, long-term commitment. They just wouldn't invest in her public image and community engagement if she wasn't a cornerstone of their future plans. It's especially after making such high-profile, outspoken statements.
Engagement event on behalf of the Indiana Fever. Now, they wouldn't be having her do this if she was not going to be a part of this team next season. They would choose somebody else who's going to be here. It's as simple as that. They would have called Lexi. They would have had somebody else from the organization who's going to be there next season. So this is good news and a good sign that Sophie Cunningham will be back with the Indiana Fever, which is ultimately something we all want. You see did you see Natasha Howard out there? No, because they're not bringing Natasha Howard back as they shouldn't. You're not.
Plus, Sophie's unique ability to skillfully seize the moment next to Caitlin Clark without ever trying to overshadow her highlights her profound self-awareness and strategic thinking. She famously declared, "I will be her Sabrina Carpenter any day," to her Taylor Swift. This isn't about stealing the spotlight. It's about intelligently enhancing it, working seamlessly and effectively alongside a transcendent star. And this nuanced approach to partnership translates directly to her truth-telling. She's not trying to disrupt just for the sake of disruption, but to bring necessary clarity and honesty to complex situations, recognizing where her voice is most impactful.
It's not where the interest ends. Unrivaled's co-founders, WNBA stars Sophie Cunningham and Breanna Stewart, these two happen to be WNBA Players Association Executive Committee, both being vice presidents. Collier is arguably the most vocal among WNBA players about her frustration with the league regarding how much players are paid. Many fans and media members feel like Collier and Stewart's involvement in the CBA negotiations is a conflict of interest, giving their founding.
Her journey to the Fever itself was primarily fueled by her desire to play alongside Clark. Sophie openly admitted she never truly saw herself leaving Phoenix. She had a great setup there, a comfortable home, and an excellent off-court situation. Yet, the undeniable allure of Clark's bright lights and unparalleled spotlight ultimately motivated her big move. She clearly recognized the immense opportunity for both her game and her personal brand to really blow up next to Clark. This ambition, combined with her characteristic directness, ultimately defines her as a player who strategically navigates her career and isn't afraid to make big, impactful moves.
All one. Did you see Natasha Howard out there? No, because they're not bringing Natasha Howard back as they shouldn't. You're not gonna see Natasha Howard at none of these events. You're not gonna see Odyssey Sims there. You're not gonna see Odyssey Sims there. Odyssey Sims is gone. I'm sorry. Odyssey Sims, you did your thing, but she's gone. I don't think, or at least I think she's gone. I don't think you'll see her at any of these events. And here we even have just some of the things Sophie was saying about joining the Indiana Fever and uniting with Caitlin Clark. Let's take a listen to some of the things she had to say.
Now, the implications of Sophie's comments stretch far beyond individual players and their personal brands. They challenge the very governance and ethical framework of the WNBA as it exists today, demanding a much closer look. Think about it. If key player representatives who are entrusted with negotiating player welfare are simultaneously invested in a rival venture, how can fair, transparent, and unbiased negotiations truly take place? This isn't some theoretical question. It's a tangible issue that impacts every single player, every owner, and the fundamental future viability of the WNBA itself, especially concerning player salaries, benefits, and overall welfare. It clearly requires an urgent resolution.
So that's interesting. And she said that with a smile. So, I mean, there you are. There's the first player to actually have the guts to come out and acknowledge there is some kind of a conflict of interest involving, I mean, it's crazy. The most obvious thing these players, generally speaking, want to try to steer clear of. Like people are blind and stupid. Especially fans that came in as actual sports fans, and we've sat back and watched.
What's more, the contrast between Sophie Cunningham and other players in the league is striking and undeniable. While many might privately share Sophie's deep concerns, very few, if any, have dared to voice them publicly in such an open, unambiguous way. This pervasive silence from the majority creates a perception of complicity, or at the very least, a deep reluctance to rock the established boat. Sophie Cunningham's courageous willingness to stick her neck out makes her a rare anomaly and an incredibly powerful voice. Her honesty forces others to acknowledge the elephant in the room, whether they like it or not, pushing the boundaries of what's considered acceptable league discourse.
Even have just some of the things Sophie was saying about joining the Indiana Fever and uniting with Caitlin Clark. Let's take a listen to some of the things she had to say.
The joke was on us because maybe she was asking you to come to the Fever.
No, maybe I just put an atmosphere and it happened. But how funny is that? Like I never really even saw myself leaving Phoenix. It was my new home away from home. I have a great off-court situation. I've built a lot of fun relationships out there. And yeah, I was like, hey, like, what do we need? No, come on, how do you get out of here?
See, she had a good setup. And this is what,
The situation is particularly important because Unrivaled explicitly positions itself as a league that prioritizes player compensation. This directly addresses a long-standing, often voiced grievance within the WNBA. While the intention to elevate women's basketball pay and create more opportunities is totally admirable, the method, especially when it's intertwined with existing WNBA executive roles, raises uncomfortable and complex questions about leverage and fundamental fairness. Sophie's comments powerfully underscore that even positive change, when implemented in this manner, can come with significant ethical complexities that desperately need to be openly discussed and transparently resolved for the integrity of the sport. This isn't just a fleeting story or a passing headline. It's a critical, defining moment for the WNBA as a whole. The league finds itself at a pivotal crossroads, navigating immense new popularity, driven by transcendent stars like Caitlin Clark, but also facing fundamental, existential questions about its very structure, ethical governance, and player relations. Sophie Cunningham's bold honesty forces the league to confront an uncomfortable truth about internal conflicts of interest that have festered beneath the surface. It's a testament to her unwavering character that she prioritized transparency and integrity over political convenience, risking criticism for the sake of undeniable clarity. Her candor is a refreshing breath of fresh air in a professional sports landscape, often dominated by carefully curated public relations statements and guarded, evasive answers. Sophie's authentic, no-nonsense approach really resonates deeply with fans who crave genuine insight into the inner workings of professional sports. Tired of manufactured narrative, she effortlessly bypasses the usual guarded statements, delivering raw, unvarnished truth that directly challenges the existing status quo. This fearless, direct communication style powerfully reinforces her growing brand as a player who consistently keeps it real, both on and off the court, solidifying her growing influence within the game. The future fallout from Sophie's statements remains to be seen, and it will undoubtedly be closely watched by everyone involved. While other players now feel genuinely empowered to speak up and voice their own concerns, will the WNBA Players Association be forced to address the perceived conflict more directly and transparently, initiating an internal review? Or will the league attempt to simply downplay the significance of her powerful remarks, hoping the controversy? One thing is absolutely certain: Sophie Cunningham has ignited a conversation that was long overdue, making it impossible for the WNBA to simply ignore the uncomfortable questions she so bravely brought to light. The ball is now definitively in the league's court. Sophie Cunningham didn't just expose a significant conflict, she demonstrated true, unwavering leadership by daring to say what unequivocally needed to be said, regardless of any potential personal or professional talkings, in a league that is increasingly demanding transparency and ethical governance. Her powerful voice cuts through all the pervasive noise, holding powerful figures accountable for their actions and dual role. This moment will undoubtedly be remembered as a pivotal turning point, where one player's courage forced a hard, introspective look at the ethical foundations of women's professional basketball. The profound impact of her unfiltered truth will undoubtedly reverberate for many seasons to come, shaping the future of the